All right. Here we go. Off to a slow start. Not really set up properly. But we're going to fake it. We always do. All right. I'm going to sit here for just a minute, let the notification go out. I'm going to step away, and I'll be right back. But I will be right back. How do I mute myself? Like with the, how do I just click the thing? Okay, that muted the primary microphone. That's not what I meant to do. I think I'll just turn this knob. All right, I'm back. It's been really windy. Not going to say it because I don't want to say it, but it's possible it's like totally allergies, right? But we're gonna pretend that's not the case. All right. So, for those of you who are playing Returnal, you're probably triggered, and this is why. We all know what this is. We all know who. Well, I don't know who this is, but we have seen this creepy astronaut in this freaking game. Now, I was under the impression, because you only see this astronaut in cutscenes, right? Flashbacks, whatever they want to call it. So you're sitting there, your character perishes, you loop back, and it's a replay each time of the crash that brought you to the not brought you to the planet, but ended with you on the planet. And there's like a storm and some lightning, and then the engine falls off, blah 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 blah. Maybe there's like some tentacles, creepy water, blah blah blah, and then you see this astronaut flash, right? Then there's another opening scene where you're sitting in your commander's chair, and you look up, and the dash is cracked, right? There's rain, there are raindrops falling, there's water streaking down the kind of canopy glass, and the astronaut just standing there looking at you, right? And then boom, it disappears. Annoying. Turns out, I want to use profanity. Turns out that this mother fluffer is up on the walls watching you. Like you're in a puzzle. Wait a minute, are we in a puzzle? Hold on. So wait, are we running a maze? I didn't even know I was going to end up talking about this like this, in this manner. Trying to figure out what exactly is going on in Returnal. I don't know what's going on in the game. But if this astronaut, who I'm not sure who this is, possibly our mother, I'm not sure, is watching us run through the puzzle. Are we rats in a maze? I really hope that's the case. I've just blown my own mind, by the way. I've totally just blown my own mind. Are we in a freaking maze and they're just watching us? This game. Anyway, this is the astronaut from Returnal. And he's annoying. Get tired of seeing that guy around, just standing there like, oh, hey, what you doing? What you doing, Imorph? You running around? You think you're doing something cool, like trying to get rid of all the monsters? Oh, that's cool. Cool. Going to be interesting. I don't know if I'm ever going to make it to the end of the game, though. I've seen some of the in-game battles or bosses. Absolutely bonkers. I flying on slabs of concrete with a grappling hook, and you're shooting the boss who's flying in the sky. It looks way beyond me. But I'm just gonna keep plodding along until I eventually complete the game. I don't know when that's going to be. Could be this year, could be next year, could be next century, depending on how long we live. All right. It's sort of difficult to start this without anyone here. It's a little more interactive. And I started late, so I'm going to assume mostly everyone's probably in bed. So I'm going to stall a little bit longer by letting the music play. And hopefully people will pop up. So I'm going to step away for a minute. Because I don't know how to talk about everything I prepared by myself with no input. Huh. Good planning on my part, huh? All right, I'll be back in just a moment. Alrighty. So, yep, there we are. This is the astronaut from Returnal. I'm really curious to find out who or what this is. I'm going to do my usual. I'm going to play the easy or the first stage and try to collect everything possible before I move forward. It's so cheesy. I'm going to do this. I've decided I'm going to collect as much ether as possible. I don't care if I die 1,000 times. Collect as much ether which is the currency in the game, that it will allow. And then once I think I've collected enough, I'm going to start collecting. There's things called data cubes or something. And once you clear a boss and go to this processor thing, whatever's contained in that cube becomes a permanent buff or something like that. So that's the path I'm going to take. I'm going to try to get all the ether I can so I can buy things at the door. There's a little box you shove things into and magical things pop out. I think they're permanent, not sure. But I'm going to try to get all the permanent buffs as possible within the game. Anything that will automatically boost my weapon proficiency to whatever. Open up all the perks and tiers on each perk for each gun, particularly guns that I like. And I'm not even going to attempt a full run, like just a full start to finish run, until I get better at the game, of course, right? And I get all the things that I want, so I can go through and just cruise through the game. I know some people are thinking, but Morph, isn't that cheating? No. My answer is no. It's playing smart. And that's what I'm going to call it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. Exactly. See? My thoughts exactly. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. That's sort of like the fighter pilot thing, right? Or the military thing. So if you're not cheating, you're not trying. So yeah, I've really got to. I've never played a roguelike. I thought you could just, play a level, clear it, and then it starts at the next level. But apparently, you have to run the entire game from start to finish in one fell swoop. That's bonkers. I watched someone play today, and I was blown away. So, it's a hard no for you. Dude, it's absolutely... But I think if I do it my way, if I just keep playing like it's a leveler, it's like you're leveling up all of your gear before I even attempt the whole thing. So I want to be OP. I want to be OP for the first boss, like the first boss and then the second boss, right? So when I start the first boss, I don't want to have to pick up any extras or any specials or anything. Excuse me, as I go through the first boss. Right? I'm going to clear the first boss, then make it up to the second boss, or the biome, or make it to the second biome, they're calling it. And then go back to the first biome, pick up all the things, get all the buffs I can, and then keep playing and just farm that second stage, right? So every time I come through, I'm OP for stage 1, so I can just walk right through it. And then farm the second biome for the fight with the next boss. Maybe fight him once or twice to get to the data processor, which you can shove data chips or cubes into. And that's my plan. I figure it'd be about 6 or 7 months before I try a full run. That's my plan. And I'm sticking to it. That is my plan. There are people who have completed the game twice already. Monsters. And then people on Reddit are like, wait a minute. I've died 40, 50 times just to the first boss. And they're like, just keep playing. It'll click. It'll just eventually... Time to complete? Some people are running the whole thing in 12 hours. But I don't think they're being dishonest. I'm not sure what they're counting. Like, okay, I've tried this a few times, and then this was the run. I'm not sure. Because you know how people are. They aren't really clear sometimes. So maybe with like over a period of time, they've done something or the other, and then they had one big run. Now, one guy said he started the game up and he just played it 12 hours straight. And there were a lot of questions because there's a mini boss at the start that I assumed was there to make sure that you die to move the story forward. He says, no, you can beat that boss and the game keeps going from that point. It's like a branch. That seems like a major branch. If you complete and kill the mini boss, which looks like it's part of the like tutorial thing, apparently that's a different path. But if you die to that, then you get stuck in this loop. So there's another question I have to ask myself. Do I want to start over and try to beat the mini boss and get that ending? Or do I keep my current save and push forward? Yeah, this is just the opening screen. We're not even to the main part of the podcast. Already distracted. Already distracted. And I won't even be mad if I never complete it. I've had so much fun just learning about roguelikes and the story itself for the game that I don't mind at all. I just want to know who the frick is this astronaut. They pop up everywhere. Everywhere. You know, there's a cutscene. There's the astronaut. You wake up in your cockpit. There's an astronaut. Apparently, if you look up, they're watching you from the walls of the maze. I just want to know who this is. If I get that answer after 6 months of playing, I'd be happy. I wouldn't have to platinum the game, get all the trophies, make it to the final boss. Just who the heck is that? All right. So, now that I've distracted myself, let's get back on course. Today, before we begin, ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is brought to you by Breakbeat Kings over on Apple Music. There we go. And the following tools: SIPS, CSV Kit, Curl, ImageCat, and Canva. Canva is a great presentation creator, GIF generator, Twitter post, photo post, Facebook, you name it. For those of you who are not artistically inclined, who don't want to deal with pages, who hate all the other graphics creation tools out there, if you're a complete I can't draw within the lines or color within the lines type of person, Canva is for you. Now, if you are a designer and you want to do things quick and light, Canva is for you. Middle daughter discovered this tool, introduced me to it a few years ago, and I've been in love with it ever since. I went ahead and bought the Pro so I can get all the little extra bits and bobs, but chef's kiss to Canva. ImageCat to resample and change the image of images, PNGs, JPEGs, so on and so forth. Curl to grab stuff when I see it. CSV Kit to turn CSV, comma separated value tables or files into what you see here, a table, and SIPS to reimage, ImageCat to display, and CSV Kit to display comma separated value files in this format here. All right. Get SIPS up there. I wish I had triggers for all of this. SIPS. It's not actually CSV Toolkit, it's CSV Kit. But when I made the bit.ly link, my brain inserted tool. Because when you see kit, that's what your brain wants to do, right? And there's curl. ImageCat. And Canva. You don't really need a bit.ly for something that short, right? Okay. So these are the tools that bring you this podcast. Right. So what's in store for today? Well, GT Sport, Kolb cycle of learning, helping someone. Talk about how we can help people. So fishing for versus teaching how. Infrastructure. And what's important to you? What do you focus on? And what's the cycle, the infrastructure cycle? Fast, good, cheap. From a musician's point of view, the origins. Oh, the chicken sandwich debate. We might move that around. And then rate, rank, and review, which is way to fast, good, and cheap. So let's start with GT Sport very quickly. For those of you who are in the GT Sport community, Spazer Laser has created yet another racing series. Sign up here probably on a Sunday around 10 Japan Standard Time. If you want to come and see chaos, shenanigans, me just constantly saying dang it and whinging, please check us out. I will post something on Twitter when this actually kicks off and begins. But right now we're signing up. We're taking sign-ups for participants. It will be team-based, and teams will be decided day of each individual race. So we won't know who we're teamed up with or who's going to be racing until day of. Okay. All right. I just need to inform someone of something. Okay. So now let's move on. You guys want to skip ahead to have the chicken and sandwich debate now? Or do you want to wait and go through everything that's listed here? Chicken sandwich debate now, or all the other stuff, and then the chicken sandwich debate? I also need to answer some messages from my dad. Hold. Okay, all right. Now. Okay. All right, then. Let's do it now. Oh, you know what? That's the only thing I didn't set up. Let me create one more tab. Okay. All right. So there's another holy war, and it's about chicken sandwich or chicken burger, or chicken hamburger, or chicken burger. See, you can't see ham. Okay. There was this division in chat the other day. Camp 1 is like, it's a burger. I'm like, no. Put my foot down, right? And of course, we had the banter. We went back and forth. We got those of us who said it's not a burger, but called it a sandwich. We were called gatekeepers. So you guys are gatekeeping sandwiches and burgers. And thank you for trying this demo. I mean, on the surface, it would appear as if we were indeed gatekeeping the nomenclature surrounding meat substance found between two pieces of bread. It was great. People were shouting at each other. Lines were drawn in the sand. By great, I mean, teams were hashtag it's a burger, hashtag not a burger, definitely a sandwich. Thank you for trying. Right. And then that's where we ended up. So at the end, I decided, okay, because McCroat, one of the guys in the chat, I have a command, which you guys can probably see for coffee beans. It says, I love. And I have to say, whatever they put, I have to say that I love it. So it's like, do it. It's like worth 100,000 coffee beans. So I had to say that I love chicken burgers. But I immediately co-opted the whole thing to make my point, which is exactly what's printed here. If it's between two pieces, we're gonna go really generic, of either Wonder Bread or Roman Mill sandwich bread. If it's a piece of chicken that's not ground, if it's a breast, if it's chicken breast, can't be a drumstick, not gonna work. It could be. Now, if it's shredded, if you cook a bunch of chicken and just rip some pieces of meat off and throw it on the piece of bread, it's definitely a sandwich. It's definitely a sandwich, straight up. So, here are the permutations. Now, I was gonna make a list of these, but I'm kind of too lazy. I don't like typing. So if it's on Roman meal, sandwich bread, or Wonder Bread, if the meat, the product, is not ground or processed, is that right? If it's not in a patty form, if it's shredded chicken, if it's a breast piece, sliced or unsliced, placed between two pieces of sandwich bread, it's a sandwich. If it's a patty between hamburger buns, two buns, it's a hamburger. It's a chicken burger. But see, that hamburger implies ham. All right. We have a ground beef hamburger, which is fine. It's a beef burger, then that's okay. We should actually change the whole nomenclature surrounding that also. Sorry. Yeah, so if it's a patty, and I don't care how you cook it, if it's in patty form, it's a burger. Those are the extremes. Those are the boundaries. Now, there is this middle ground. If you have a patty-shaped piece of ground chicken meat between two pieces of Wonder Bread, it's a burger. We're not going to call it a sandwich, because I think what dictates the whole thing, the controlling factor here, is how the meat is prepared. Now, it's a hood burger. Oh, bravo. That's what I feel with the wish sandwich. It's a hood burger. Hey, yes, so same here. So many hood burgers. Actually, I thought that's what all homemade hamburgers were like. Like with their buns? Right there. You can buy buns and make like a proper hamburger at home, and not those cheap Wonder Bread buns, which look like something from the elementary school cafeteria that have been left underneath a box of the hamburger buns underneath the patties, right? So they're all squished. I didn't have buns until I, grew up and left the house. It's amazing how many of us went through the struggle. And we need to acknowledge that a lot of us went through that struggle. Some of us are still in that struggle. And work to help each other out. Which will come back, which brings me back to what I'm going to talk about next. So, yes, so now we have a homemade sandwich, chicken sandwich. Then we have a chicken burger. Then we have this hood burger, which is a combination of a sandwich and a burger. I wish I were good enough to draw this. Oh my God, hood burger. That's so good. And then you could have um, a like a full breast between hamburger buns would be what? Like that wouldn't be would it be a fish fillet? Like some fish fillet, chicken fillet sandwich? See, then we get a bit. Then it comes to how it's cooked. Oh, I don't know where to go with that. Chicken sandwich. Still a chicken sandwich. You're like, nope. Still stands chicken sandwich. Okay. So we have determined. We also have the Subway, um, like chicken sandwich, right? But we have the defined categories: chicken sandwich, chicken burger, and then we have hood burger, which is what I think most of us grew up with. My grandmother would, dude, I don't know why or how my grandparents, particularly my grandfather, did not end up dying from a stroke. They used to, like they would scramble eggs or something. You know, you need a lot of grease and Crisco and stuff to fry food back in the day, right? In the 70s, 60s, and 70s. Because they had no stick, that didn't exist. So they had that pot of grease or fat that was next to the kitchen, like next to the stove, that they would just scoop. They'd pour all of portion sizes. Wait, what's that in relation to? What's the portion sizes in relation to? Not having a heart attack or a stroke? Okay, but listen to this. Listen to this. They would fry eggs, then they take that grease and pour it into this jar. Okay? Whenever they fried anything, it would go into the jar. The leftover grease would go into the jar. Then when they go to fry something else, they would scoop it up and slop it into the pan. So, my grandmother, and then my mother, and then me, just like my, as tradition goes, myself too. Oh, the grease jar. So, my grandmother would fry the hamburger, and she put it on the plate. Then she would take like the slice of onion and the bread, and then she would slap those in the frying pan, and then fry the bread in the grease. Both pieces of bread, right? One had onions on it, and then she just flipped that and fried that all together. And it was just grease on top of grease. I don't understand, A, how they lived so long, and B, didn't die of a stroke from clogged arteries, because, whew, bonkers. But yeah. The hood burger. I think many of us, hood burger, air sandwich, wish sandwich. Wish sandwich is probably the worst. It's just two pieces of bread with nothing in between, and you wish there was something in between. Air sandwich was just two pieces of bread and mayonnaise. I ate a lot of those. God, I ate a lot of those. Ate a lot of tuna sandwiches. Oh my, because it's the cheapest thing my mother could afford. And we just, man, tuna for a day. Tuna sandwiches every day. Mayonnaise sandwiches, yes. Oh, it's so good. So we've all been there, right? All right, side rant. Tuna sandwiches for life, right? If I were lucky, we would get tuna mayo. Oh, no relish. Oh, you guys were rich. You had relish? High class. I was just about to say, if I had chopped onions in the tuna, oh man, living like a king. It was mayo, chopped onions, and black pepper. Dude, that was living. It was a high life. Whoa, whoa, this isn't a fancy sit down with an onion on it. Oh, we had onion. We had chopped onions. We didn't have a full onion. It was chopped. A bit diced onion, right? What next? Oh, can you put celery on a tuna sandwich? Uh, this is so Mighty Python, right? So yeah, I'm glad we've finally there are not many wars that get settled, and I think we've settled this one. Maybe chicken sandwich, meats in the can, right? Those little nasty sausages. Oh god, they were terrible. I loved them, and then when I got older, I'm like, how did I eat those sausages? They were disgusting. All right, 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 all right. So, let's clear this. I think we've settled the holy war, and I'm happy about that. Really, really happy. Okay, we're in this folder. Don't mind the naming. So let's talk about helping people, right? Um, one of my beefs with the school system, and also with TV, is that they don't teach us how to do things. We learn about things, but they don't teach us how to start a company, run a company, um, how to build a product. This also ties in to some things I want to talk about. It's all about rote memory, right? And no college. I think college in the old days, yes. Modern day college, no, no. There are too many courses in there that we just don't need. I think in the past there was a focus on getting stuff done. Yeah, yeah. So I'm talking about modern day from about 1997, like right around the time. Okay, right, like mid 80s when they started adding things like I had a high school class called science fiction, and all we did was to read science fiction stories and then have to write a book report. That counted toward my GPA, and I knew it was wrong. And when I took that class, I knew it was wrong, but I needed the grade. So, but prior to that, it was, when they took out home ec, when they took out sewing, when they took out wood shop and plastic shop and all the shop classes, that we were doomed. 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 Yeah, you took yearbook too? Oh my god. I was a photographer for yearbook. So I had to make I was like, oh, I've got to go to this track meet, so I can't take this class today. And I had like, just pass it, let me do anything. I could walk around. Why are you? Oh, I'm just going to over here. Here's my thing. I'm from yearbook. Oh my god. I regret it now. I should have studied harder. But at the time, it seemed like a good idea. So, but they should bring back shop classes. 4 years of photography and 3 years of yearbook. Okay, I had to drop photography because I couldn't handle, my sciences couldn't handle the chemicals in the darkroom. Just, my head would explode. Total snot monster. Vision would get blurred. Waterfalls. Just, Niagara didn't have anything on me. So I had to drop photography. But I was good enough to shoot for yearbook staff. Pentax K1000. Thanks, Mom and Dad. I still take advantage of that, what I learned, even in the few weeks I was there in photography class. So, okay. Let's talk about how we're taught now, or how kids are taught now. And so, like, how people learn, right? And we're gonna jump around. We're trying to make this as fast as possible, because I know some of you probably need to head off to bed soon. So So there's this thing called the Kolb cycle of learning. And it's actually 4 steps, but I've cheated because I want everything to be in 3s. Sue me. There's an activity, right? For example, addition or subtraction or multiplication or, figuring the area of blah, blah, blah. We are taught the answer, right? This is how you solve the problem. Instead of, which I think is horrible, instead, what we should do, and which is the most effective, is they should have us observe something. Just like they do when we're in kindergarten. One of these things is not like the other. Right? They apply that then. Okay, okay, which ones are the same? Oh, these are all the same. Okay, they're called triangles. That's a triangle. Okay, that's a square. Okay. And we observe, then we count the sides, and we see that those 3 shapes are different from that one shape because that one has 3 sides, that one has 4 sides. Okay. And then they tell us it's a triangle. Right? We observe, we do something, we deduce, things with 3 sides go over here, things with 4 sides go over here. Right? And then we're told, okay, that's a square, the things on the left are triangles, and the items on the right are squares. And then as kids, we go out and we apply this and we test it. Right? That's why kids will come and say, Daddy, is this a square? And you're like, yes. And then they'll help a circle. Is this a square? And you're like, no, that's a circle. And parents get frustrated. It's like, why are you doing this? Because they observed something at school, they deduced what it was, and now they want to confirm that this rule applies consistently. Right? It's a constant. How about this? And it's a line. That's just a line. And parents get frustrated. But don't get frustrated. It's kids trying to figure out the world around them. And we should be doing this as adults also. Right? But once you get to about 2nd grade, this stops. They start telling you what everything is. And by 5th or 6th grade, my grades were good, but I didn't know how to think about the different subjects. Math, I could memorize. And what was funny is I could memorize my math tables, my multiplication tables, but I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea why I was doing the things that I was doing, right? Had they just said, okay, here are some symbols. The plus, minus, multiplication, division, square root, whatever they want to put on there. Okay, they're all over. I want you to circle all the ones that look like this. The plus sign, right? I forget what the add-in is. No, that's those things on each side. Whatever the name of the official name is, the plus sign. Okay, great. Now, go through and circle all the ones that look like this. Okay. That's called subtraction. Okay, today we're only going to talk about those 2. All right, so we're going to put plus. All right, now here we are. And then have a bunch of problems. 1 plus 1 equals 2. And with the answer and everything, or just 1 plus 1, without even the equal sign. Without even equals, just 1 plus 1, 2 minus 1. Say, okay, now circle the ones that are all the same. Look at the sign and circle these equations or whatever that are all the same. And the kids are constantly sort of having to observe, separate, and then it's like, is this right? Is this the same? Okay. And then once they've made that observation, say, okay, now you make some, right? Because you want them to apply what they've deduced. That all the things that look like this are called addition problems. Things that are this, which you're not going to tell them at the start, are subtraction problems, right? Okay, great. Now, these are called addition problems. These are called subtraction problems. But what does that mean? The plus means you take what's over here. Oh, then you introduce the equal sign. And you would introduce the equal sign by saying, okay, behind each problem on both pages, write this symbol. No. You would say, okay, let's find the answer. So if you have 1 apple plus another apple, how many do you have? 2. Excellent. And there should just be a box where you just write the answer. Okay, everyone, it's whatever on the left add it to what's on the right, and then write the answer here. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. Great. Okay, let's go over here. So if this is adding things, we're putting two things together. This is the opposite. We're taking the left away from, or the right away from the left. All right, so if you have 4 apples and we take away 2 apples, how many have you? Well, 2. Okay, great. All right, write that there. Okay, do that for all of them. All right, did you get these? Are these your numbers? Yes. Okay. So before the answer on each one, write the equal sign. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, boom. And you've taught these kids that there's addition, there's subtraction. They figured it out for themselves. They've applied it, right? And then you give them the final bit, which is the equal sign. And then they know what they're doing. Whenever you see that thing over there, that means you're slamming them together. They have figured it out for themselves. They weren't told that's what it is. They figured it out for themselves. And that's more important than telling someone what something is. Why am I ranting? I don't know. So, I saw this in action yesterday. There's this guy, Erky. He's one of the sim racers. He plays both Gran Turismo Sport and iRacing. And he sat there. He was watching a guy who was faster. You know, after the race finished or after qualifying had finished. I'm not sure. And he sat there. He kept looking at it and kept replaying it. He'd look at what he was doing, and he says, "Oh, this guy is starting way out over here, but turning in. No, I'm starting way out over here. He's starting super, super close. Okay, so what does that mean? So he's doing that. Oh, that allows this to happen." And he just watched. And then he went and he tried it. He goes, "Okay, I see how that works now." And he immediately got faster. I try to do the same thing. That's pretty much how I learn almost everything. It's like, what's going on here? And I try to tear it apart, reverse engineer, right? That's basically what reverse engineering is. This observe, deduce, and apply. Occasionally, now this gets into how to help people and teaching someone how to do something versus telling someone or doing it for them, right? So, what's the next one? So, we're going to tie these two together. Nope. That's not what I wanted. Sorry, I take that back. That's slightly different. Okay. So, the other day, I was racing at Fuji. And I complain every time I race at Fuji because it's a difficult circuit. Fuji Speedway is ridiculously difficult. I hate it. It beats me every time. Not the other racers. The track itself destroys me. I hate it. So I was whinging and moaning, and one of the guys had observed the circuit, and he had made this deduction. He came to this conclusion. He said, "Morph, most of the turns at Fuji are these big radius turns. They're huge, they have this huge radius." And I was like, yes, they're not fast sweeping. They're sort of like, almost like a hairpin turn, but not. Really, really weird turns. And the minute he said it twice, and the second time he said it, my brain said, why? Okay, so you complained, and then Laser said this. All right, another day, you were complaining again, and he said the same thing again. Okay, there's definitely going to be a third time, but we're going to skip ahead. I know this song and dance. I'm going to say it. And sure enough, I looked at it, it's like, yeah, these are all pretty big turns. And once I had that information, all the stress I was putting on myself disappeared. I could admit to myself and point out that I don't know how to navigate large radius turns. I do. That's a lie. I do, but not at Fuji, because Fuji throws in this extra kink of you can't see the exit of the turn. You can't see the exit. So you have to start your turn before you see where you're going. And it goes against everything in racing. Normally you look at where you're trying to get to, the apex, your exit, right? Either your apex or your exit. Kind of almost the same, really close to the same thing. But when you can't see it, where do your eyes go? That means you have to start your turn and trust that you've started it properly, because it's either the apex is down at the bottom of the turn, like you're going up and then down into the turn. You're climbing up and turning, but the point you want to hit is down on the other side. Or you're climbing up, and after you crest, you can see where you're aiming for. Turn one is like that. You start turn one, and you can't see the freaking apex. And it's downhill, and it's at the end of a long straight, and you are flying. And it's a tight hairpin. It's kind of a tight hairpin with a weird radius kink at the end. It's so goofy. So weird. But when he said that, immediately I started approaching all the turns differently. I said, you know what? Don't look for the exit. Just pick a point and turn. And then pray. So instead of telling me, morph at this turn, at the 100-meter board, apply your brakes, here, he didn't tell me what to do. He gave me this concept. And then I could apply that concept and test it and sort out how to navigate the circuit myself. Whew. Did not expect to go on that long. So, observe, deduce, apply. That is the Kolb cycle of learning. Condensed. His has actually 4 steps, which is the activity, the observation, the deduction phase, and then the test and confirmation stage. He shows as a loop. But I removed that because everything has to be in 3s for me. So that's how my friend helped me. He said, hey, Morph, here's the concept. He made the observation, and then gave me the deduction, and I applied it, and then just went round and round in the loop. Okay. Whew. Let's go back to, or let's head over to what it means to help someone. We're not going to get through everything today. So the different types of help. And different types of help. One is stopgap, and that's sort of doing it for the person. Right? People are starving. There's no food. People don't have the tools to do anything. You go in and say, here's some food. Eat this so you don't die. And I feel that most of, well, in the past when I was growing up, most of the charities are just stopgap. And they never make it to the other two, which are B and C. Right, so we have stopgap, safety nets, and preventative measures, tool system, information, education, right? Education and tools to carry out what they've learned. And I think charities, if they only focus on stopgap, in the long run, they're not really helping. Initially, they are. Not all. Some charities focus mainly on stopgap. I think once you've sort of stemmed the flow, like someone's bleeding out, right? You stop the bleeding. Then simultaneously, you have to work on creating a safety nets and preventive measures so they don't end up in that situation. They don't fall back into that situation again. Right? You don't want them to have to be triaged every day. Right? But at the same time, you have to figure out, okay, how can we teach them how to do this for themselves, right? And that's what takes the most time. And most people don't want to do that step. And they don't want to admit that that is the end game. Because stopgap makes you feel good. Right? Safety nets aren't quite as appealing, But they still, it's like, oh, I mean, I just make sure that this doesn't happen. And then when you get to C, like, I teach people how to, like, had the British open up engineering courses and metallurgy courses, blah blah blah, and taught the Indians how to build their own railway, because some of that stuff is still in use today with no updates. I mean, now, I'm gonna now meaning the 70s and 80s, right? Now things are changing, but they use that system as it was built for years with no updates. They just dropped it in there and just left it. No one wants to do C. No one wants to do C. No one wants to talk about C. I'm all about C. All about C. If you're doing stopgap, great. If you're doing safety nets and preventative measures, absolutely fantastic. But if I had the money and the time, I would put all of it, all of my extra cash, money, and time into tools and systems to help people learn how to do the things that they need to do, or to have a successful life, more successful than my life. Wait, how's that even work? Anyway, that's me. Why does everything turn into a rant for me? Why does every single thing I do turn into a freaking rant? I do not know. Yes. Now see, that's how you and I think, right? But a lot of people don't. They just think supporting a stopgap charity fund is where everything ends. I think sending money to foundations that help people get textbooks to kids, to get teaching supplies. I personally, right now, because financially all I can do, I sit between. Are you guys familiar with Kiva? People often just throw money at things and hope it solves it. Yeah. Oh God, I need to figure out what the address is. Hold on. Which browser is going to open up and not use a ton of memory? Maybe Safari. You guys, everything might crash. No promises. Okay, all right. So I don't have much money. So what I do is I've earmarked, well, now I've bumped up to $50 to Kiva. So basically, these are people who are trying to build something, right? They're trying to open up a shop. They're trying to, you can see on the page, right? So on the page that I see now, a loan of $1,200 helps to buy a new freezer for meat to expand her business. So this is not stopgap, right? This is at next level. So this individual on my page is Evelyn. Oh, I don't want to switch. Okay, I'm going to risk switching the screen. That's going to break everything, you guys. That's going to so break everything. For some reason, the Windows server thing on OS X for my account just goes bonkers when I start screen sharing. And to shift is a total gamble. So if you could click on that link, you'll be doing all of us a favor by not making me try to switch the screen share. Right now, my CPU usage is about 80 or 90%. Just screen sharing the terminal window. But some of the things are Miss Evelyn Del Carmen. She needs $1,200 to help buy a new freezer. So she's not stopgap. We're helping her to build, right, and improve. One woman just needs a refrigerator for her house, right? So for me personally, I think currently I have two individuals. So actually, this was one of the first loans that I supported. Was this guy here? Way back in 2011. Yeah. So that was my first, and the loan was repaid. My two current loans, this is the second. That was repaid also. And then I think my life went really sideways with diabetes, and I had like no money. Now, oh, actually, hold on. There's actually a third. This might have been the first. This woman from Cambodia. And in each case, the loan was repaid, and I could loan that money out to someone else. So this is not quite stopgap. This is this is what fall between B and C. So the C is like self-improvement, right? Helping them improve or get beyond where they are now. I don't know quite where it falls on this triangle, but that's the kind of thing that I put my money into when I have it. I think enough people do enough stopgap. But stopgap just, once they're done with that, it just, yeah, people throw money at it. Ugh. All right. So which brings us to this is sort of in the same vein. Oh, hold on. So, quick side jaunt, because we need to talk about one other thing that frames all of this, which is this one here. Fast, cheap, good, or fast, good, cheap. I think most of us, some of us, are familiar with this concept. You can either build something fast, you can only choose two, one or two, right? So fast, cheap, or fast, cheap, cheap, good. Macron is all three. That's impossible. Blame, Jeeves. That's impossible. You can only choose two or one. I think Japan just aims for good. Good and reasonable. Which I think is a really good place. Not cheap, but reasonable. A friend of mine in South Korea says everything is just fast. Which means it's neither good, which sort of implies cheap also. But everything is just fast. Not built to last, yeah. I don't know what the US is. I think most people focus on fast and cheap, or just cheap. It's like there could also be a scale. Like once you've chosen fast and cheap, you because all three race to the bottom. Definitely fast and cheap, yeah. And if what you look for is fast and cheap, your life will be fast and cheap. You get what you purchase. You're purchasing perspective and what you expect from companies and providers. So everyone's what people want is fast, cheap, and good. But what you get is just fast and cheap because it's not possible to get all things. I think customers want fast, cheap, and good. Companies just give you fast and cheap. we race to the bottom, and everyone loses. Everybody loses. Everybody loses. Everybody. No, 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 Sir Laxative. No, no, no. I do not see it that way at all. Stop it. Do you like online shopping? Always about the bottom sell? Yeah. And no, you don't win as a society when you go for fast and cheap. It looks like a good thing on the surface, but it turns everything into a cheap commodity. And once everything is a cheap commodity, you just got cheap. It does, right? Hey, Queen Melody. Hello. It's amazing what people decide to be cheap on. It drives me bonkers. Oh, this is me shouting at the entire planet. Everyone. I'm just so mad at everyone. If you focus, cheap commodity also produces more waste. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's going to be waste. There's always a trade-off, right? There's always a trade-off. But everybody, please, if you can't afford something, don't label it as overpriced, okay? Don't blame it on the manufacturer. Just look at yourself and say, instead of saying something is too expensive, I wish it were cheaper. Right? I want. They will spend $1,200 on a mobile phone, but spend $1 a month for cloud storage. Oh yeah, I know. It drives me bonkers. It drives me absolutely bonkers. Oh yeah, exactly. Yep, your brain hurts. So, fast, cheap, and good. Oh my God. It is. Oh, really? Because they just stopped running and people just they abandon them on the side of the road, then they get scrapped. That's bad. That's bad. Yeah, people don't want to pay for stuff. Oh, I can get that at Walmart for $1. Okay, go there then. I know. It's just like, I'm so mad at everyone. Everyone meaning those people that only focus on that. If you can't, if you can't afford it, just say, I can't afford that particular model right now. Don't blame the manufacturer. They spent the time, the effort, and the money to build a quality product, and for you to say, "Oh, that's just overpriced for just a blah blah blah," every time I hear that, oh, it's just a USB cable. Oh, the Apple USB cable. It's just a USB cable. Do people not know what goes into a USB cable? The shielding to make sure it doesn't catch on fire. I think there are little chips. There's all kinds of bonkers stuff in those USB cables. Some can provide power and data. They just look the same. Oh my God! You went to buy a water cooler mixing set, well, yesterday, and it was like $270. I was like, oh no. Found the same at Daiso, $1.50. We gotta talk. Now, if you have a very tiny budget, work within your budget and say, okay, this is all I can afford for now. Don't get angry at the thing that you can't afford now. Make your situation better so you can afford it. But don't blame people that produce high quality products as making it's just a this or that's overpriced. Don't do it. So a decade ago, you bought a high quality made in Japan guitar and the build quality was so high that they don't make them anymore and they are now expensive to build. Yeah, now that's the problem. If you make something that's good, that doesn't break, be prepared to put yourself out of business. Be prepared to put yourself out of business because that's what you're going to do. You need to have something that's connected to that. So if you're going to build guitars that are amazing, start like a recording company to go along with your your guitar building construction blah blah blah. I don't know what do you call that. But yeah, work within your budget and be clear that you're working within your budget. I started buy nice or buy twice. Yes. Yes. So Midnight Chef, aka my wife, she bought a snow shovel. We had a few seasons where it snowed a lot. She bought like a cheapy like Daiso thing and it broke. And then we had to buy another one. She goes, "Oh, I learned my lesson. Just buy the one. Buy nice or buy twice." They can no longer innovate like they used to. Right. So there, they need to focus on only one thing. They need to focus on one thing only. Like one. Or do it the Apple way. So apparently, Apple is brilliant. The glass for the new iPad Pro and then the Pro monitor is the same glass. Right? And then I'm going to assume there's some crossover between the ports on the keyboard. And even look at the keyboard, like we have a new iMac, thanks to Bad Daughter. The USB keyboard, the USB trackpad, they all share the same plug as the iPad and the iPhone. So that one connector, they just use it everywhere. They build one cable. They drop it in your iMac, in the box with your iMac, so you can charge the battery on your trackpad, the battery on your keyboard, your iPad, your iPhone, and it's a convenience for us, but they just had to build it once, design and build it once. Get quality parts, say, okay, we spent all this money on making this one part really excellent, and now we're going to use it everywhere. So their build quality, okay, so their products became a bit basic, yeah. So they worked themselves into a corner. I can't help them. Not right now. I can't put my brain in that space right now. I don't know enough. So I don't know how to process it at the moment. My head is locked into Apple, and I can't shift. Where was I going? See, I can't. Sorry. I know what you're trying to say, but my brain, I only have one brain cell, and I'm using it right now. You can go on for hours with manufacturers. Oh, I bet you can. I know you can. So, yeah. When I first started online teaching from home, and when I started streaming, for streaming, I used the cheap microphone that came with the PS4. I didn't have a chair. I sat on the floor. It was horrible, but that's all I had. I was not envious of people who had complete setups. I was like, listen, I got to start somewhere. This is what I'm going to do. Then I started teaching online. And I bought for $15 one of those all-in-one from Sony, like a microphone with a cable, with a little box that you use to plug into the back of your computer. $15. It was horrible. I couldn't afford a microphone stand. So I found, we had this old tin that used to hold like a cocoa powder that stood kind of tall. And I just put little rubber feet on the bottom of that for like $2 I picked up. Placed them on the bottom of the can so it wouldn't wobble and you wouldn't hear the metal thump. The Sony thing came with this own little tiny stand. I set that on top of the can, and that's how I taught. Absolute bonkers, right? And then finally I made enough, I saved enough to get a microphone and a mixer. And I pulled that off, because I didn't buy any software for audio. I couldn't afford any of the stuff. So I found this mixer that would loop back audio from the computer so I can include the student's voice. But I wasn't going to pay for a piece of software just for that. That would be, dumped in 2 years or constantly being updated and would break. So I sacrificed in one area so I could win in another. It's an expensive little machine. It's expensive, but it's lasted, and it was worth it. I haven't had to purchase a new one since. Now, I did buy one just for streaming, and I went with one that everyone said worked with the PS4, that should have worked with the PS5, and it does. So I'm set there, right? It's nice. It does what I need it to do. I'll use it for another year or two until something else comes along. In goal is a better mic, a box that works. What do they call it? Is it a DAW? No. Audio something something. That works on both the PS5 and the computer. Maybe. Because I'm going to try to shift to another room where everything works in one room. Gaming setup, teaching studio, all in one room. And just switch cables or hit a button or something. Viability of operation is usually what goes. What is viability of operation? All right. While Jeebs is here, Jeebs, are you still here? I don't know how much lag people have. Okay. So we had the talk. We had the Holy War talk about chicken burger. I'm going to condense everything down for you. Okay? Hear me out. Hear me out. There are 3. The ends, Roman Mill sandwich bread, Wonder Bread sandwich bread, with a filet A laser, with who had the talk? Oh, we did. Here. So on the left, you have, it's a piece of breast meat. Yeah, you've been getting some sleep in. Like, people check the market, cost of equipment and competition. So we decide that if it's a sandwich bread and it's a piece of breast meat, it's a sandwich. Now, the other end on the right, a burger, would be chicken meat processed into the form of a patty, and then barbecued, broiled, or whatever you want to cook it, between hamburger buns. Now, we identified between a hamburger bun is a burger. It's a chicken burger. You can't say chicken hamburger because ham is ham. You can't say chicken hamburger unless you have ham in your chicken. And that would be bacon. That would be a bacon and chicken hamburger. And we're saying the same thing twice. It's unacceptable. It's a chicken burger. I will fight you over that. But we did, Vagabond and I, identify a third contestant. And that is the hood burger. Oh, I think about family chicken between 2 buns. Since it's not real chicken, I think it's processed. I don't know, man. If family chicken is not real chicken, I think it's slightly processed. So we're gonna go with a chicken burger. Oh, you say sandwich? Oh no! Oh no! But it's processed. It's that processed family chicken. Isn't that processed? It's not ground chicken? Oh, okay. Well, then it's a sandwich. Well, it's a hood burger. It's a hood burger, which is exactly what we described here. It's Or is it a hood burger? No, no. A hood burger is, and oh, someone got busted. So a hood burger is processed. It's a patty. It's meat in any form, actually, between two pieces of Wonder Bread or Roman Mill sandwich bread. That would be a hood burger. You have McDonald's here that called it chicken burger. Okay. All right. So there we go. So that was the conclusion of the Holy War. Chicken sandwich, chicken burger, hood burger. T4 for hamburger buns equals hood burger. Yep. Yes, sirree. Okay. So we talked about learning what it means to help infrastructure. Infrastructure, I think, is where we're heading off to next, right? Yes. Okay. So infrastructure. This is all. They're all sort of tied together. A, because they're all triangles and cycles. No one likes to pay for infrastructure. Bridges, telephone pylons, undergrounding. No one wants to pay for it. Argument was with burger buns with chicken is chicken burger. Oh, if it's a regular piece of chicken, no, it's not a chicken burger. It's a chicken. We could say a hamburger sandwich if you want to like slam them together like sci-fi fantasy, something like that. You can admit both of its origins. I kind of be okay with that, maybe. So, but no one wants to pay for infrastructure. Bridges. There are huge battles that happen here. A lot of places went to underground all of their utilities. I'm kind of glad they didn't. I'll get around to that in a minute. Roads here, in some places, are kept up fairly well. Other parts, but I see stuff from the States. I'm like, man, you guys, all of your infrastructure is garbage. It looks horrible. I haven't been home in so long, and when I see clips from home, I'm just like, what is going on? I'm not talking about back roads. I'm talking major roads with cracks and potholes and curves and just like buckling and bulging. It's like, what is going on? Because no one wants to pay. It comes back to fast and cheap. No one wants to pay. This is good. When you want to have a good society and you want good things, you have to pay for this. So go talk to your councilman or your senator and say, hey, we need to pour money into this. Do this, please. Do more of this. There's been this huge waterworks project going on here. I think they finally completed it, where they spent years building a huge aqueduct. It's not far from where I live, actually. Is it an aqueduct? I don't know. I'm not sure. But it channels all the rainwater, like when there's flooding. Instead of dealing with the flooding each year when it happened, right? And then the damage it will cause to the roads and blah, 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 blah. They just spent years building these huge... It's a tourist attraction, actually. You can walk around in it. I think when it's not rainy season. Not 100% sure. But it's just huge. It's all underground. And they said, this is what we're doing. And I'm sure there's some resistance, but everyone's like, yeah, please do that. Let's spend the money now to stop having to pay for the destruction every year when it floods. It's ridiculous. It's beautiful. I just can't remember the name of it. What is the name of that waterworks project? Anyway, things like that. Oh, yeah. No, not just your area. Your whole... Australia, finally getting their act together. America, you got to get your act together. You need to tell the phone companies, stop providing, try to provide phone service. Just drop phones. Don't try to provide that service yourself. Just become the backbone for internet. Just drop all the other services. Put everything into the because Musk is going to jack all y'all up. I hate to tell you this, but he's putting those Starlink satellites up, trying to get worldwide coverage, or the globe. Phone companies are in trouble because they missed the boat. They missed the freaking boat. They should have done this themselves. But they didn't. And you guys suffer, and then they're going to suffer when they go out of business. But I remember Apple saying to the phone companies, you guys just become the backbone. Don't try to do the phone thing. Remember Steve Jobs saying something along those lines, but the phone companies were like, no. This is a PG channel. Yes, I agree with that, Vagabond. You just need to retype that. Oh, yeah, you gotta retype that. Okay, away from outside. Okay, so Vagabond wrote he had fiber installed, and then the guy tried to upsell like phone service and something else. Just no. Just say no to that. Googly eyes for my action or waiting for laser outside. I need to know what the googly eyes are for. But yeah, infrastructure, you got to pay for it, and that cycle is long. It's super duper long. It's slow and expensive, but the output is something good. That's why bridges are falling apart. No one wants to pay for R&D for new bridges. No one wants to fix what they've got, and no one wants to build the replacements, which ties back into R&D. So get good, America. Get good. I think I'm almost at the end of my rant. Why do I rant? I don't know why I have to rant. Bridges? Yes. Sam Porter? Yes. Where is Sam? Yes. Everyone, just tap into your inner Sam. Yes. Everyone, just start playing Death Stranding. Just real life. Don't walk around. Mr. Reedus, yes. I was reflecting on that game the other day, how much I really enjoyed not just the game play itself, but those little memory chips with little bits and bobs, yeah? Yes, Laser. So while Laser's typing his question, so they built a new bridge down the road from my house. I watched them. They said, okay, we're going to sort of simultaneously build this bridge and then decommission this other one. Either they built it right next to it or over the top, or they did something. And I watched them on this project, and you could see the old bridge was falling apart, so they just redid it. You're full blown into Ghost Recon. I've noticed. Getting your shooter on, right? Chick is locked into Flight Simulator and one or two other games. Minchi katsu is ground beef. You put it on a bun. Is it a burger or a sandwich? Oh no! No! It's a hamburger sandwich. It's a Japanese hamburger. It's a Japanese hamburger sandwich. A sandwich. I love how Claire Franklin was like, no, sandwich. I don't know if I can say that with that much confidence. I don't know. Because it's the breading around the outside that really... I don't know. It's a burger sandwich. Yeah, hide behind me. You're good. Just stay there. Yeah, I got you. I got you. Japan burger. It's a Japanese hamburger. Like they have Japanese pancakes and so on and so forth. Japanese pizza. I love it. It's a Japan burger. That's a good question, Laser. My head is close to exploding at this point. You keep finding these edge cases. These edge cases are really difficult to deal with. So, like I said, that's why we had the extreme. Sandwich, clear definition of a sandwich is a piece of breast meat, unbreaded, between two pieces of bread, be it Wonder Bread or Roman meal. Don't ask why the fixation, because that's all that we had growing up. I never had Wonder Bread. All the rich kids had Wonder Bread. We just had Roman meal. And for health reasons, apparently. My mom was really health conscious. And then at the other end, we have they went out of business? At the other end, we have buns, bread in the shape of a bun, be it a Wonder Bread bun or a Roman meal bun, doesn't matter. And then a patty, a hamburger patty, unbreaded. Now, what we put in between there, I don't know, man. If it slides closer one way than the other, let's just class. We have hood burgers and then hamburger sandwiches. How's that? Hot dogs on sliced bread or a hot dog sandwich? Yes. He's happy that he stumped me. He got me. He did. Oh. Yeah, same here, Vagabond. So many of those. GG's Laser. So good. When you wrote that, my brain said, what? Talking about food makes you so hungry. You gonna eat all the mini pizzas while your wife is asleep? I'm gonna tell her too. You ate all the mini pizzas. Okay. So yeah, when you go to the voting booth and you have to choose who to vote for, anyone that talks about we need to improve our blah blah blah, R&D, our infrastructure, we need to build better bridges, we need to spend. Anyone that says things like that, vote for them. I don't care which side of the aisle they're on. They are reasonable people. Vote for them. You will have a better life. Let's teach our kids. Let's improve our school system. Let's teach our kids how to build things. Right? Vote for that person. How do you know about the mini pizza? Oh, I don't know. I know about your activity, young man. But if she's also sneaking around eating up all the mini pizzas, you guys need to have some counseling. Some marriage counseling about your mini pizza eating habits. You need to get that out in the open. Just get it out in the open. So go to the ballot and anyone reasonable that sounds like this. We need to work on not just being the fastest or the, fast and cheap. We need to spend the time and the effort now to research and blah, 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 and build XYZ. We need to... No, she bought mini pizzas and didn't tell... She bought mini pizzas and didn't tell you about them. You guys need to sit down with someone to mediate between you two and discuss A, your mini pizza addiction. B, just get all the instances where you guys were unfaithful to each other with mini pizza. And C, work on the plan. Oh my God. Oh. So yeah, that's and those people are usually centrist, by the way, because they just want to get things done. And while everyone else is screaming and setting the house on fire, it's like, we should really strengthen up the framework. Let's look into like new building techniques to uh, reduce fire and blah blah blah. While everyone else is like, no, we're gonna burn everything down because we don't like it. No, we're gonna keep it the same. Don't vote for either of those two camps. They're extremes. Don't. Nothing good comes out of that. Nothing. Just that one guy going, but so buy more mini pizzas. Yes. Yeah, okay, fine. If that's the way you want to go with it, it's fine. And if you don't want to address it head on, that's fine. But I'm telling you, if you guys pull your power together, right? If you take that money that you're hiding from each other, right? And get together and say, okay, listen, I'll buy the mini pizzas. I'll buy the XYZ mini pizzas. And then we can also have some frozen yogurt. Or we can also buy this, right? Mini cupcakes are just a smaller version of something that's already a smaller version. Oh my God. This is true. This is true. Right. So let's get. I don't know if I can help you, Jeeves. I'm not sure. I think that was pretty much it. So for those of you who came in late, we had the holy word talk about hamburger sandwich versus, I'm sorry, I just confused myself. Chicken sandwich and chicken burger, and then Laser came and broke my brain, and I'm just so confused. Send mini pizzas, yes, please help. First, we started by talking about how people learn, and we're gonna have the condensed version of this. And this Laser, part of why I opted to talk about this today is because of you, by the way. So, for those of you who play Gran Turismo Sport and are in the stream, know that all I did last week was whinge and moan about how horrible Fuji is. And by how horrible Fuji is, meaning how horrible I am at navigating my vehicle around Fuji because I didn't have the skills. There's the truth. Okay, I'm not going to blame Fuji. Only if Tilk, that guy Tilk designed it, then yes. GoFundMe. Jeeves needs mini pizzas. Mini za. Oh, God. You forgot the P. The P got away from you. My wife, and the whole thing's like, my wife secretly purchases mini pizzas and doesn't share them with me. I need to build my own supply. Let's make it happen. 2021, G needs mini pizzas. So, Laser said, Morph, Fuji's got a lot of really, these bizarre large radius turns. I'm just like, you said it once. I'm like, yeah. And then you said it again. I'm like, uh-oh. I think I should be paying attention to this because you had observed, from your observation, you saw a pattern, and you deduced that it was these turns are a lot of the turns are these huge radius turns. And then you said, hey, Morph, I've observed this. Here's the concept I've picked up. And the second time you said it, I'm like, oh. And I looked at the map, I'm like, yeah, I think he's right. By the way, you were right. And with the extra added attraction or fun of having the elevation change as you're taking these dumb turns, who puts the apex after you crest? Who does that? I know Kota. Okay, Kota does that too after that ridiculous climb up the hill. Those kind of turns absolutely break my brain, but it immediately freed me from that stress. Right? So then I went out and to test it, I looked at it in my brain. And then when I got in the car, I could see it. But I also made a few other observations, is that none of the turns at Fuji are constant radius turns. Not a single freaking one. As either a hairpin or sort of a oddly shaped hairpin with a dogleg kink at the end, right? Like you bent a paper clip out of shape. It's nothing is normal, which is what makes that circuit so incredibly difficult. You're being thrown so many freaking variables all at the same time. You're climbing, you go into the hollow, right? You're cresting and turning at a late apex corner where the apex is hidden from view, either after you crest, right? Or as you dive down and are meant to be exiting a turn, you see the apex like, oh, how did you get over there? Talking about turn one. How did you get over there? It's like, so how do I get there? But knowing that information, you observed, you deduced, and you just gave me that deduction, that concept, it really, really, really allowed me to focus on what I needed to do, what I didn't understand, what I was missing. And I whinged a bit prior to that, like before the race, right before the race. But it drastically altered my approach. And I said, okay, I'm going to take these turns to the best of my ability. I think the apex is over there. If I get close, I get close. I'm not going to do anything crazy. If I get close enough and I'm catching people, I'm going to keep doing the same thing. And I said, okay, these are all non-constant radius turns. So screw it. If I get close enough, I get close enough. Absolutely fantastic. I am so grateful. How do I express my gratitude? I no longer hate Fuji. I no longer have to complain about it. I know what I have to do. So that's all thanks to you. Not forgiving you for the freaking mince cuts between two pieces of bread. Still mad at you about that. Don't let it go to your head. If you need to find an apex, don't let me cry help. He's never found one. He's not even here to defend himself. Come on, man. That's like Biden. Come on, man. Jeeves. At least do it while I was here. Or just copy and paste and say, hey, I said this to you while Morph was streaming. There you go. Didn't want to talk bad about you behind your back. Totally not helping, right? This is the opposite of helping. And then we talked about helping. Then we talked about how to help people. I think we might have gone fast, good, cheap, but we'll skip it. So how to help people? You can either do that immediate stopgap, which is most charities. Then they're just safety nets to stop people to prevent people. You screenshot and send it to his Discord. Brutal. I absolutely love it. Don't tell him I said that. Oh. So, let's just get back to making iMorph look good, okay? I'm the good one. I do not instigate trouble. All right. See ya, Jeeves. It's just a recap, and then we're out of here. Have a good one. Don't eat all the mini pizzas. No mini pizzas before bed either. No mini cupcakes. So most charities are stopgap. Not many people work on trying to prevent that from happening again. And the most time-consuming and expensive is teaching all the mini Zaz. Yeah, that's what they are now, right? All the mini Zaz. All right, you're gonna balloon to like small wrestler territory size, right? And then I think I posted that I don't really give to charities, but I do help these. There's this service called Kiva, where people like from the Philippines or somewhere in Africa, they say, hey, listen, I'm trying to run my business. I need a loan. Right? And this is Kiva, and it's pretty much upfront. I met the guy who started it years ago. And, you give them like $25, however much you want to lend them to help them meet their goal, and then they pay you back. So I sort of like that. It takes sometimes up to a year for $25, my $25 to come back, but the $1,500 they keep spreading it out over the period of time. They pay everyone back. So that's the type of, I'm not going to call it charity because I'm not doing anything. Yeah, I am. So that's what it means like to help people. You can do stopgap, stop the bleeding, stop them from bleeding out, but you have to teach them how not to do dumb things so they can avoid being in the hospital. And then tools and systems to teach people how to do the thing, right? To help them help others. And then we fast, good, cheap. I think that's where everyone came in. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. That's where everyone else dropped in. All right. Huh. I think we can exit out of this screen. We can get dumped out somewhere. All right. Today was brought to you by Breakbeat Kings, SIPS CSV Kit, Curl, ImageCat, and Canva, the best tools in the world. And this is something I worry about having nightmares or popping up in my nightmares from playing Returnal because it's everywhere in the game. Absolutely brilliant game. And don't do things that make you look bad or make you end up in the hospital. Yes. Exactly, Laser. Sign up to my, and then you have to sign up to my email list to find out more. This one simple trick will stop you from looking bad and ending up in the hospital. Like that. All right, we can do it the British way and say in hospital. Let's do the British way. Say in hospital.
Thank you for trying this demo.
Excuse me. Sorry. Don't do things that make you look bad or land you in hospital. That's it. Here we go. How about this? We'll say land you in hospital. And we can like backspace there. Maybe clear that up. There we go. Right, so all the Brits will go, ooh, that's very British the way you phrase that. Yeah, I know. All right, that's quote 190. I'm probably going to play Returnal later. I'm not sure if I'm going to stream it. I might stream it, but I've got to also eat. Not 100% sure actually when I'm going to be on. We will have Gran Turismo Sport this evening. Between now and then, unsure. See how it goes. Thank you everyone for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Hope you learned something. And have a wonderful evening, all my friends, all my cult members. You going to Gran Turismo and Pat? Nice. Your lower back is out. Yeah, my neck is upset from Fuji. Yeah, I've also got to take it easy. But for those of you who are in the U.S. on the East Coast, it's probably quite late for you. Sleep tight, have nice dreams, but not in hospital. Nice. The first time I heard that, like I listened to my British friends speak, like, oh, I'm going to go to hospital, but we don't need the. And we technically, the is having the determiner between hospital is technically correct. It should be in hospital. Because if you have the, there's a backstory behind it, right? I'm in the hospital, which the ambulance dropped me off in, or where the paramedics brought me, or something like that. There's some sort of backstory after hospital. But if you just say, I'm in hospital, it's just at the place, the concept and idea of hospital. So that determiner, the, if nothing comes after it, then it should either be or it's just a concept. Right, I'll meet you at the park. So if you have a boyfriend and girlfriend and they have a park, there's a particular park they visit, then I'll meet you at the park, which we always meet at for our usual late night smooches in the park under the stars. That would be that's what the is defining. Yeah. I mean, everyone likes late night smooches in the park, right? right? In a park, in a park, in a park. Sorry. See, I broke my own rule there. Everyone likes like nice smooches in the park, right? Right? I can't be the only one. Nah. All right, with that, I am out. Everyone say bye to the astronaut. Most annoying character in the freaking game. Oh, no, next to Evil Groot. Next to Evil Groot, this is probably the most annoying character. Evil Groot. I can kill Evil Groot now. Yep. Laser's like, yep. All right, I am out. I need to eat. Bust out some push-ups. I'm about 3 sets behind. And I will see everyone for sure in Gran Turismo Sport this evening. Maybe this afternoon. Between now and 9, I might pop on with Returnal. Unsure. But have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful afternoon. Have a wonderful day. And remember that iMorph loves you and wants you to be a part of his cult. And with that, I bid you farewell.